Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and it's time for another story time with Des. I haven't made one of these in forever because, well, I told all the best stories, and they are 100% true, by the way. That entire order of orange chicken was actually on the street. I did not hallucinate that. I could smell it. It's just like the famous quote from the ancient philosopher Confucius: one does not hallucinate and smell-lucinate orange chicken. It's really one or the other. If you're smelling it, it's there. I believe he also said, diversify y'all bonds. Yeah, you gotta be pretty old to appreciate that reference. So today I caught an Articuno and a Lugia. That's it. End of story. Bye. Thanks for watching, guys. Just kidding. This one isn't actually about Pokemon Go, although I will say there was like 50 to 60 to 70 people at some of these raids, like mostly after each other, not simultaneously, but it got nuts. And I gotta say, a lot of the people showed up were my kind of people. We're talking Muffler Dragon, rusted out piece of crap, freaking like Chevy Cavalier showing up with their ancient, antique, dusted off level smartphone. I mean, they're still trying to connect to the raid and he's already down, but I should talk. I'm using an out of service LG Stylo 2 with a cracked screen in a $6 case that overheats the phone. And I'm on a 3G only, not 4G capable wireless hotspot. But yeah, poor people, man. That's my crew right there. It reminds me of the one time that I went to a fancy dinner at a fancy place with like my friend's friends or his parents' friends or something like that, or friends' families, daughters, parents. I don't even remember. I just sat down like I don't know these people regardless, so whatever. It was like comical but not at the time level sitcom craziness. Like they're sitting there talking about, yes, our daughter, oh, and her friend is going to this college and she just got her acceptance letter, and oh, but I don't like this professor. Oh, and of course we used to go there and there's a statue of us out front. Okay, that's probably not exactly what they said, but I was kind of tuning out half of it. I was just like, oh man, my favorite jeans, they got like a couple holes in them, but it's still legal to wear. And the fly just broke. Like the zipper keeps falling down. I'm like, I don't want to walk around, freaking flashing people. You can get on a list for that. And so I actually just took VHB tape and super glue and freaking just jammed the zipper. So I mean, it's kind of hard to take a piss at a urinal, but I mean, it works. I can keep wearing the jeans, and that's just was the highlight of my week. Okay, I didn't actually tell them that story, but it was true. It was what I was thinking of, and I was very amused by me pretending to tell them, because in my mind I was like, how funny would it be to just be like, I'm poorer than you? But no, I decided to kind of play the part. Although we were at an Italian restaurant, I'm like, you know what? I'm not that hungry, and I just love calzones more than life itself, which, I mean, is true. So I got the calzone, which was like $7 on the menu, because everything else, oh, you want just like some spaghetti, no salt, no butter, just literally a plate of spaghetti. It's like $30 frickin' dollars. I'm like, nah, bro, you take a pizza, fold it in half, call it a pizza taco, aka calzone, I will eat that sucker. I don't care if it's on the appetizers menu and doesn't come with super salad. I'm getting it because I'm poor. And my friend, well, I should probably say, and my roommate at the time, that's who it was, like, he knew I didn't make that much money. Like, that's when I worked for my old job before I got a raise. And I got a raise because I threatened to quit. I've always found that that's a good way if you're mission critical, as they say. I believe that's the corporate speak for it. So the funny thing is we got along great. And it's like, it's not like I was like, oh, these stuck up rich people. Like, they were super cool, super nice people. So don't get the wrong impression. But I felt like super out of place. It was so funny. I could totally laugh about it later. But we did have a good time. It was a great night. Oh, and by the way, the calzone was fantastic. In fact, I would have gone back to the place, but how would I be able to get there if I had to sell my car just to pay for the entree? So I kept thinking, how funny would it be if I was just like letting these people know out of nowhere that I was like super ghetto? Because I like dress really nice and, obviously straight A student. And, I don't sound like an incredibly stupid, trashy person some of the time. At least I went out of my way to not. So, they just thought, oh, I fit right in. And at the time, it was like, oh, what's your job? CIO of my company? Hello. Too bad they don't pay me anything, but I left that out. By the way, I was CIO of the company for 4 years, and then I quit. But yeah, they never suspected at that dinner that I was a massively poor person. I mean, I was wearing a top hat and monocle. Just kidding, I wasn't. So, I mean, they probably would have been like, oh, how interesting. And how long have you been white trash? I would have been like, oh, about 22 years and 24. I don't remember how old I was back then. But, oh, yes, it goes way back. My family was never very rich at all, ever. My dad worked for, let's see, well, after I was born, we'll say, nonprofit, nonprofit, and then nonprofit. Oh, and I think for like 3 weeks he worked for UPS. Kind of funny considering I occasionally work for FedEx. My Patreon supporters already knew that. You guys, I'm telling you, you gotta get in the know on Patreon. Somebody else I know works for them, and then I got approved to work there so that I can help on his route if it's like overloaded or holiday or whatever. I know it goes really well with hip and knee problems and back injuries. It's just like the greatest job I could ever get, but you work when you work. And that's just how I was raised. It was like, we got like a very tiny allowance, and I think they just said screw it when I turned like 12 or 13. I mean, there was no asking your parents for money. Like when I started hanging out with one of my friends that had a little bit wealthier parents, which to me is like not wealthy at all, but wealthier. And he'd just be like, hey mom, can I have $40 so we can go to the movies or play laser tag or go here, do this? And she's like, oh sure, I got that in the purse, go grab it. I'm like, what just happened? That is a foreign concept to me. Does she owe you money? Like, did you loan her something? Or did she, like, break your Xbox? Or what the hell? What? I don't get it. No, here's what growing up poor was like, although this might, resonate with, well, mathematically, quite a few of you. I'd say probably more than half. I mean, not many people are rich. I don't mean, like, millionaire, top 1%, whatever, rich. I mean, just, like, we'll say 60 grand a year and above. That's what I consider rich. Now, adjust that for where you live, because in my area, that'll get you some stuff. I mean, out in New York, you're basically working for New York minimum wage. I mean, here, if you spend $200,000 on your house, it's above 2,000 square feet, it's 2 stories, and it's damn nice. Like, we're talking 3-car garage, speakers in the walls nice. No, back when I was a kid, and I do literally mean a kid, like, if you wanted something, you work for it. Like, even as a kid, like, you better sell something at the rummage sale or something. No, it's not called a yard or garage sale. We call it a rummage sale. Literally just in Wisconsin. Everywhere around us calls it something different. Too bad. So, growing up, small house, okay-ish neighborhood, about every third person was a total creeper, like former convict or something. But the rest of the people were just down-to-earth cool people with just like blah jobs and, just nice folks. It wasn't like the trashy frickin' welfare side of town. Okay, you gotta go a little north for that. I mean, either that or like north or west or south. So like me and my brother, we pooled our money to buy a Sega Genesis when we were like 7, I'd say. Oh wait, no, let me think. That would have been, no, when we were about 9. Oh, so we ran over to Toys R Us, right? Hell no, we went on the rummage sale circuit. Like it was like $25 with 2 controllers and 12 games, and we're like, I don't know if we got the money. Like we were hustling Pokemon cards and stuff, man. We'd be selling gum at school. Like you make money, that's what you do. I mean, you work. That's the only reason we moved into when I was 11, a very nice house. I mean, we're talking, like I said, 2,000 square feet worth, probably at the time, 130, 140,000. We actually had it built, but that's just how my parents were. They didn't make very much money at all, and only my dad worked. But my mom always did side jobs. I did side jobs. My brother did side jobs. Didn't matter if we were 8 or 10 or 12 or however many years old. It's just you work, you cut lawns, you do whatever. I mean, you save your money from birthdays and don't spend it for 3 months till something is really worth it. But they were super good at budgeting. We never took vacations or trips that cost over like $100. We would drive anywhere. It would probably still be in Wisconsin. In other words, we pretty much just went to Wisconsin Dells every year. And not even every year. Sometimes we skipped it. There was no, where are we flying to? Ooh, what flight should we take for this year's summer vacation? Hell no, it's like get in the car, kids. So every single system up until, honestly, we were like 17, 18, like when my brother moved out, which I think actually he moved out. I moved out when I was 24 because thanks everybody older than me for ruining the economy. That was fun, especially the IT industry right after I got out of college. But yeah, every game system we got when the next one was already out. So we literally bought a PS2 off somebody who was getting a PS3. We got a PS1 when the PS2 came out. We got a Sega Genesis when just a whole bunch of better stuff was out, honestly. Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, GameCube, all that. We never actually owned a Nintendo or an NES because every time we saw one at a garage sale, it was like, oh, I don't quite have enough money, or oh, I kind of want to save it for this, that, or the other thing. Or, and this is fun, double down. If we're going on a vacation, you better bring your own damn money because they're paying for the tickets and the gas, and that's it. Like, if you want something, you're on your own. Like, my parents would, like, feed us, but that's it. Like, they'd be like, oh, let's stop and get a hot dog or something. But other than that, like, oh, you want to buy this souvenir? Get out your wallet, son. So when I was 11, we moved into this very high-end, richy neighborhood, I would say, and we built one of the smallest houses on, like, the last lot that was available. So that's, that's like the discount rack of houses and lots. who knew that could go on like clearance liquidation? But I mean, still, it costs what it costs to build a house, but we had a really cheapy company do it. But they did a really good job, actually. We also talked them down and did some of the work ourselves. That's just what you do. Like I said, you work. That's why I work like 6 jobs right now, or whatever the hell I even got. I stopped counting. FedEx is like number 5. In fact, just type jobs into the search on my channel and you'll find the video covering every job I've had. It is mind-blowing. So besides really cheap budget vacations, what else did we do for fun when we're that poor? Ride our bikes down to the park and go to the park. That's actually pretty normal. That's not even a compromise. Like, rich people do that. In fact, they buy houses across from parks. In fact, they probably buy the park too, let's be honest. Besides like, play tag with the trashy white trash neighbors and hide and go seek and night games as we called them, which is pretty much any game that somebody heard from their friend of a friend who goes to a different school. And then we would just forget half the rules and make them up. To this day, I'm not sure I actually know the rules of Ollie Ollie Oxenfree. I'm pretty sure they just made it up. But in the new neighborhood, people weren't as into that. Everybody kind of kept themselves and stayed inside and watched their expensive cable packages, and we didn't have cable. Well, we did on and off depending upon the price, but as soon as they would raise it, we would just cancel it and wait for another free promo or, buy a month, get it free type of thing. It was a little different back then. And I do remember when, because, I'm this old, when my very first friend, it was a person who lived almost directly behind us, they got dial-up. They got the internet. And we're like, dude, we got to go over to your house. It was my friend Eric. And we're just like, we got to see this. And he goes to like a website and we're like, dude, you can pull up like pictures and video and music and stuff and like news. And you don't have to put in like a CD or launch a game. That is witchcraft right there. You are a sorcerer, sir, waiting 25 minutes until your mom picks up the phone to call somebody to download. See, what was the first website I ever saw? MTV.com, a music video on MTV.com. That's right, they were streaming a 160 by 120 resolution, about 100 kilobits per second video, and it took so long to load. He's like, well, let's just come back to it. We'll come back to it. The videos take a while. But yeah, I think the neighbors caught on pretty quick, mostly because my parents told them. They were like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I work for blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, and do you have another job? Because they're like, what the hell? They like deal in drugs or something? How the hell did they buy this house? Like, oh, and what does your wife do? Nothing. Stay at home mom. Oh, and she also volunteers at this and that, which doesn't pay because it's volunteering. And they're just like, what the hell? Like, they didn't want to ask, like, how the hell did you get this house? It was just saving up money, budgeting. We got a really good deal on some land up north, as we call it, which, honestly, I think it was, like, west or something, whatever. So it turns out property prices went up. We fixed it up, made trails and built a cabin and, a bunch of other stuff, fire pit, whatever, and then sold it as like, you don't have to do anything, just show up on the weekends and chill. I believe the term is value added. But yeah, a couple years later, we ended up selling it and made a huge profit, basically. Oh, that money is what went towards us buying the new house, or building it, I should say. So, I mean, seriously, my parents would save up for something and then spend it on something we would really get some mileage out of. And also, it was used, and also it was from a friend who needed some money. We really didn't buy anything new. I mean, it's Usedville for us, but that's just, it works. You also learn how to fix things. I mean, like, when our Sega G broke, man, I was out there with the screwdriver. Suddenly, I got a degree in electro engineering or mechanic something. I don't know. Whatever it was, I fixed it. I think it was just a spring slipped off or something. I don't know. So besides dazzle and amaze our neighbors who were all like doctors and lawyers and crap, working as like engineers and like biologists or whatever, I don't even know. What would we do for fun? Well, we would go to a local grocery store, pretty much the same one I was talking about earlier, and just eat all the free samples and then leave. Maybe we'd buy something so we didn't get looks, but, that was the highlight of the day. It wasn't even like, oh, do you want to go out to eat? Ooh, yeah, cool. Where are we going? McDonald's again? No. The grocery store. It's like, oh, are we going to grab something to eat in the parking lot? No. We're going to eat the free samples. Yay! We would get amped as hell about that. We went to a free museum. We went there about 30 times. I mean, you get way into exhibits when, like, that's why you're leaving the house. I mean, we had a low bar, man. We set it low. Free event in the park? Woo! Oh, the park and rec department is putting on a grilling thing all summer. Guess what, kids? You're going to it because it's only $20 for the whole damn class. I learned to cook on a grill that way, actually. It's very useful. Oh, we're going on a big weekend trip because it's the first weekend after we get out of school. Yay, where is it? Disney World? No, we're going to Grandma's house. Oh, well, big sleepover at Grandma's. I mean, hey, that's awesome. Oh, you probably don't get to see her. She lived about 6 minutes away. Oh, what would we do at Grandma's house? Which actually, she was comparatively wealthy, but probably not really by any of your standards. But compared to us, she was the rich grandma. We'd dig out the big change container that she had and get some quarters, because that was a thing back then, and get on the bus and ride the city bus around. Back then, especially in that area, it was less creepers and mostly just like old people and like, you know, fat white guys with DUIs. But they were like friendly fat white guys with DUIs because honestly, they were probably still drunk. Now, the funny thing was, at my high school, there was, you know, the rich kids and then the poor kids, and you could tell by what they're wearing and their school supplies and their backpack and the brands and everything. The funny thing was, the vast majority of people, whether they were poor or not, just didn't buy into the whole showy, expensive thing. We called them preps. I think that was maybe a local thing. But yeah, it wasn't the smart kids or the like well-performing, none of that, because I never got called a prep, my God. No, it was just the designer jeans because your mom wanted you to shop there, people, and they like wouldn't want to come to school in that because people would make fun of them for like trying to show off and be rich. Like, it was really backwards from all the, after-school movies or whatever the hell. You know how they're all like selling all this ripped up crap? That kind of started when I was in high school a little bit, where people are like, oh, it's faded jeans. Ooh. You know who started that? Was the big backlash against those people. And I was part of it. I'm like, haha, look at how many holes are in my jeans. I'm still wearing them because I just don't care. And everyone's like, dude, that is so cool. You know, it became a thing. It's like, well, how long are you going to wear them before they literally just fall apart and you like are standing there in your drawers? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. It's like that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer runs out of gas on the test drive for the car. And he's just like, well, I'll consider it. And he just bails. He gets out of the car. Oh, spoiler alert. Oh, you're bored? Go buy something at a rummage sale and play with it. And keep it under $1 because that's all you got. I mean, that's just how it was. Oh, you're bored on Saturday? Oh, go sprinkle some of that oil-absorbing sand kitty litter stuff because Dad's Dodge Neon, a.k.a. the Neon Valdez. Hey, his term, not mine. I wouldn't have been that intelligent when I was, 7, 8? Yeah, go sprinkle it out there because it's making a stain on the driveway again. We can't afford to fix it. But, I mean, we made it work. I mean, it wasn't like through my whole childhood I was, like, super aware that we're super poor. I found it weird that other people would, as I saw it, waste their money. Like, oh, you bought this shirt and everybody went to that movie and you went out to eat there and all that. I'm like, holy crap, how much does that cost? Like, you guys are just blowing your money. You guys are stupid. Should be saving that. You could get an SNES at a rummage sale for that price. Like, we had, like, a whole freaking mental bar chart or, like, a line graph. Like, we knew the ups and downs and the market value of everything because it was on our mind on a potential buy list. So it was normal to us, and you guys have heard people say that before. Like, I grew up this way, and it was different than everybody else, but it was normal to me because it's all I knew. It is so true, and oh my God, could I say that about some other stuff, but this video would go to a really dark place if I went there, so let's not. I mean, let's be honest, it's already a little bit dark, but still. So, you know, we had fun most of the time when things weren't royally screwed up, which is, you know, not commonly. But the times that were remotely livable were, you know, reasonable. So I'm not like, oh, I wish I grew up rich, because no, here's the thing. Let me tell you about rich people, because the time I went out to eat with the richest people I've ever seen in my life, not exactly the only time. So you guys knew ever since I was like 14, I started, you know, side work just fixing people's computers because I knew computers, I knew them in and out, and somebody asked, and I'm like, oh, I could probably fix that, go over to the house, fix it, and then they tell their friend, and, you know, by the time I was 17, geez, I was doing like 2 repairs a week. It was crazy. It basically paid for college. Oh, also my grandma. Oh, also I worked as a tutor and had another job and had a summer job, so yeah. So back then, I mean, I'm just some guy with like a screwdriver, so obviously I'm going to do an in-home repair. I don't have anywhere to bring the computer to. And you may recall that computers back then were garbage. I mean, everybody said, oh, they felt, you know, fast at the time, but I mean, a scan's a scan. You got to run a virus scan on a whole entire hard drive, and the hard drive runs 60 megs a second instead of like 200. You're going to be there for a while. So I'd just be sitting there chilling, and a lot of these people, you know, if you had a computer, you might have been moderately rich, you know, it was one of those things. And, like, if you cared enough about it to put money into it, because remember, even the internet wasn't that big back then, well, then you were probably moderately wealthy. So a lot of my clients were what I would consider wealthy. Like, a lot of them had, you know, very premium types of jobs, like an engineer, lawyer, doctor, whatever. Actually, I don't think any of them were doctors, come to think of it. So I'm sitting there waiting for like a malware cleanup scan after I've already removed the virus manually, just to be sure, because, I'd hate to make a second trip back because then it's under warranty. And I'd be sitting there like playing with their dog or like watching a movie with their kids or something, just like, oh, I'm waiting for this entire disk check to run. Oh my God. And there's no point in like leaving and coming back. So, I'll tell you what, I mean, a lot of these rich families, they would just kind of forget I was there, or they're just, the whole make yourself at home, they kind of know me, we're kind of friends, whatever, just chill atmosphere. And so I got to see how they talked to each other and treated each other and what they said and how they lived and everything. And I will tell you, the most miserable, unhappy people in this world are rich people. It is virtually universal. It's like the more money you get, the more you realize that it doesn't make you happy and that you hate everybody around you. If you and your family don't get along, no amount of money is going to fix that, because at a certain point you get sick of everything. So I mean, just the way they would talk to each other, holy crap, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these people? Seriously, if I had this much money, I'd be way happier than them. They are just like spoiled people. But isn't that how it always goes? I mean, money is just a number on a page or on a screen or in a bank ledger or whatever. Look at people who win the Powerball, okay? Or any kind of lottery anywhere. Money is just power, okay? Money, all it does is amplify the type of person that you already are. Everybody says, oh, the lottery ruined his life. He changed. No, he was always like that. He just didn't have the money to, I don't know what, prove it or express it or whatever, however you want to put it. You give douchebags money, or people who are incredibly bad at budgeting and don't know anything about saving money or self-restraint or anything, and that's honestly probably why they were poor. You give them a ton of money, guess what they're going to do with it? Manage it properly? Wrong. Wisdom with money is not really their thing. It's not about rich or poor, it's just about how awful of a person the person was who won the Powerball. I mean, there's like a whole show called Lottery Ruined My Life. No, you ruined your life, okay? You're a terrible person. I could say that to every single person on that show. So money doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's like, I know I'm saying, I'm making it sound so bad, but it's like I'm really just looking back and laughing, and that's the whole point of this. I meant the whole thing as like a comedy bit, because it's like, oh, let's look back and laugh at how we thought this was normal, and we got excited over the dumbest stuff, and if we got like a brand new shirt instead of something from Goodwill, we would just be so excited. I mean, if we got socks for Christmas, it'd be like, oh, thank God, all mine have holes in them, and it's getting really uncomfortable. We were happy for what we had, and for the most part, we were happy growing up. Well, with some exceptions if you know about me. But on that particular aspect, I didn't constantly think every single day, every single week, boy, I wish my family had money. It just wasn't even a thing, because the way we lived was normal to me, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with it if you look at it. Now that said, right now, could I use a little bit more money to like get my medical problems addressed and looked at, or so I can actually pay my bills on time or pay down a credit card that's been a bit of an issue for a couple years? Yes, that would be nice, but do I need it to upgrade to a slightly larger TV? Hell no. If I had the money, would I do it? Hell no. I'm gonna look around my like under 500 square foot studio apartment right now. It's like, I got a nice computer. I actually have a pretty nice TV, bought it at the pawn shop, clearance. It's like a 47-inch Samsung. It's like legit really nice. Oh, and I also have a memory foam mattress. Got that like super discounted day after Thanksgiving, like, the whole shebang. But other than that, pretty much everything here sucks, but that's fine. Do you think I just wake up every morning, I'm like, oh, I hate all my furniture. Oh, I wish I could repaint the walls and put up fancy paintings. I just need a $100 vase. That would really tie the room together. Hell no. Whenever I go to some rich person's house, I'm like, why did you waste like $1,000 on that stupid thing, that stupid thing, that stupid thing, and that stupid thing? Holy crap, you're being so stupid with your money. But those people, they clearly just have too much money, or that's just what they're that interested in. Makes them feel special, even though I have evidence to the contrary. Yeah, it's almost like buying things doesn't really make you happy. And the more money you get and the more things you buy, the more you start to realize that, and the less happy you get. Seriously, ask anybody. So like I said, am I mad that I grew up super turbo poor? No, because I think it's hilarious. I learned some interesting life skills, and the work ethic, obviously, that I got from it as a natural result, very useful these days. This weekend, I actually counted because I had to go off-site for something, and then open my shop, then immediately from my shop leave to another job, and I got home at 3 in the morning. I worked for 21 hours straight, and I don't care. I thought it was a good day overall. Mostly because we stopped for tacos on the way. That's the highlight of my week right there. I just don't care. I'm not one who's like, oh, I wish I was home playing video games and watching Netflix. This is terrible. I hate work. This is just so terrible. I shouldn't even have to work at all. What the hell is wrong with those people? Seriously. If that's your attitude, you're the one with the problem, not your circumstances, okay? You do not deserve to work like 2 days a week and rake in 50 grand or whatever the hell everybody's goal is. That's why, do I just get so jealous over all the YouTubers with 1 million subs? No, I am insanely astonished by the amount of subscribers and views that I get already. Now that said, since I lost, at this point, over $5,000 in lost revenues from the Wall Street Journal's BS article, and lost all that money on YouTube, which is right now my sole source of income, basically. Am I a little bit pissed over that? Let's just say the Wall Street Journal better be really happy that they don't reside near me. I mean, stuff like that just sucks when I thought the money was coming and it didn't. But other than that, am I like, I deserve to win the Powerball? No, I mean, if it's like 200 million, I'll buy like one ticket, and mostly as a joke. So if you're the type of person who lives your life thinking, hey, I wish I was rich, I need more money, every single day I need more money, which honestly is my mindset, but that's because need is very literal in that sense. But if you have plenty of money, I mean, be honest with yourself, or look at your bank statement and see what you spend your money on, because that's very telling. Chances are you waste a lot of your money, because let me tell you about poor people. I told you about rich people, let me tell you about poor people, or as I call them, I don't know, rich people who spend their money stupidly. Like, we got people where they're like, I work here. I'm like, that's funny, because everybody there makes the exact same amount of money. I know how much it is, and it's like 15 an hour. What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, these people are raking in, 30, 40, 50,000 a year at some place, and their house is crap, and everything's falling apart, and they're constantly whining about bills and talking to me about how they don't have any money for this and that, and this costs too much, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, you make like triple what I make. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, I'm not even messing around. I don't believe I exceeded 11 grand on the 2016 income statement for taxable income. I make next to nothing. My shop is actually losing money, mostly due to Wizards of the Coast and their quality products lately. Thanks, Wizards, love ya. But these poor people, like, they have like 3 dogs, which, what the hell? Like, the only reason I'm not like married at this point and have children is because I can't afford either, not even close. And like, the medical expenses for dogs are even less than kids, but I mean, you get multiple of them. Holy crap. Actually, you know what? I think actually it'd probably be more. Kind of depends. And then, their whole family has smartphones. Their 10-year-old kid has a smartphone. Everybody has a smartphone. They're whining about how it's $160 a month. I have a dumb phone, and I used to work in IT. And then they smoke, of course. Like, the husband and wife both smoke. There goes a couple hundred a month. I mean, these people make a ton of money. They're not poor. They're just like, they're complaining about how poor they are. They're just idiots. They're not poor. They're idiots. They wouldn't know what money management was if it kicked down their front door that's probably halfway to falling off the hinges anyway and punched them right in the face, which I wish it would. I cannot stand that type of person. They're just like, they're like disrespectful to like actual poor people. And then half the time they're on some kind of government assistance. Don't even get me started on that. Oh my God, this would be another 30-minute video. But hey, the overall message is, look back at your childhood, no matter how crappy it was, and laugh at the stuff that you can laugh at, and mentally block out the stuff you don't want to remember. That's my theory. I shouldn't even said that. I'm not going to be thinking about it. But don't be unhappy about the amount of money you have unless you have like legitimate, actual money problems, because there's probably somebody worse off than you, and there's probably somebody who makes more money than you, and they're twice as unhappy. Trust me, they're out there. So you know what I would love to hear is, if you grew up as broke as I was, give your best like broke story, like your broke childhood, like some time where you were super ghetto, like if you were raised total white trash, or just super low, what do they call that, low income bracket or poverty line, or what we were. Dude, I could limbo under that poverty line. We were nowhere near it. I couldn't get to the poverty line if I jumped. But if you've got a story like that and it's moderately funny and not completely depressing, leave that down in the comment section below, and definitely head down there to read the comments, because I have a feeling they're going to be pretty damn funny. Also, if you are a rich person, and, it goes without saying, then you probably hate your whole family, hate all your siblings, probably hate your parents, you might even hate your aunts and uncles and grandparents. I mean, that's just how rich people families are in my experience, the ones that I've met. So, what if you were to get hit by a bus suddenly? They get all your money. So, my theory is you should probably give me some of it instead of them, just in case. I mean, just in case. And I don't mean write me into your will. I mean, I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying I've got a Patreon account. Also, if you really want to get something out of it, although my reward tiers are pretty nuts, I'll be honest, teespring.com, link in the description. I'm selling all kinds of mugs and shirts, and mostly shirts. There's like one mug. Actually, there is literally one mug. I mean, one mug exists. I have one confirmed order for one mug, and the person sent me a picture of it. So they are right now in possession of the only Desolator Magic mug that exists. So if you want to be the second person, the prices are pretty reasonable, except in my budget, then they're not, especially after shipping. But the shirts are exceptional. I actually got one, finally. Mostly because I get them like 60% off. And yeah, really nice fabric. I mean, really, really nice. And if you want to really get the most bang for your buck, just sign up for YouTube Red. I've said it before. A huge portion of my income, usually 1/5 of it, comes from YouTube Red viewers. You get all the Red Premium content. I think you get some kind of free trial or access to like Google Music, some kind of streaming Spotify clone, I think. I don't know. Look into it. It's pretty cool. And yeah, everybody you watch will be getting a portion of your subscription money. That's how it works. Most people don't know that. I believe you're somewhere between 80 and 200 times more valuable as a viewer to me, monetarily, not like any other way, if you are a YouTube Red viewer. So yeah, that helps me out and it helps you out. Ad-free YouTube, premium content, it's pretty awesome. So that's the end of the infomercial section and the rest of the video. But don't forget to leave your story down below, that'd be awesome, and I will see you guys next video.